So James Harden's debut was something special. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you have not already subscribed, go ahead and do that below. Today, we're talking about James Harden's official Brooklyn Nets debut, in which he put up, let me check if I have this correct, 32 points, 12 rebounds, 14 assists, 1 block, and 4 steals. Yeah, I'd say it was a success. To provide an outline of sorts, we're going to be breaking down Harden's impact as a scorer, passer, and defender. But first, we're going to be looking at how Harden fit into a few of Brooklyn's base actions. Very well, by the way. Pistol has been one of Brooklyn's go-to plays this year. It's a play we've broken down on this channel before, and it's run by pretty much all 30 teams in the league. It's also an action that James Harden is very familiar with after his time in Houston. To begin, the ball handler, James Harden in this clip, dribbles toward the sideline where he's met by a screening perimeter player, which in this clip is Jeff Green. All the while, a big, in this clip DeAndre Jordan, sets a flare screen for that perimeter player to run off of after setting the ball screen. The beauty of Pistol is the different variations that can be run out of just the base set. As the Magic ice this ball screen and push James Harden to the sideline, Harden slips in a really nice bounce pass to DeAndre Jordan, who operates on the short roll and makes the right play by finding Kevin Durant for the three. Really nifty stuff by Brooklyn, and it's all set up by James Harden at the top. Harden also looked incredibly comfortable hitting KD on the screws off those pin downs he's been coming off of since he entered the league. Here's more comfortability from James Harden finding Kevin Durant off ball. Durant flows off this double pin down, which is 2 off-ball screens that face the baseline, set to give a player an opening for the shot. And then when that action is defended well by the Orlando Magic, James Harden and Jeff Green improvise a bit into a pick and pop with a sweet behind the back pass from Harden. I got real excited when I saw this live. We've talked about the propensity of the Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant pick and roll. Same goes for a pairing of James Harden and Kevin Durant in the screen and roll game. Double either one of these players and you're putting your defense in a precarious situation by leaving the other guy open, which is exactly what the Magic do here as Aaron Gordon rotates over to James Harden, leaving Terrence Ross out to dry with KD. In my most recent video, I discussed the idea of running James Harden off dribble handoffs, and the Nets actually did that here in the second quarter. Dribble handoffs obviously function as both a screen and a pass all in one. And the idea is that Kevin Durant's screen will offset the defense, either causing a miscue and a switch, or just by forcing the ball handler's defender, Cole Anthony in this clip, behind the play. Credit to the Magic. They do a pretty great job of handling this dribble handoff between Brooklyn's 2 best players. Cole Anthony does a nice job fighting around Kevin Durant's screen, and Aaron Gordon does a nice job doing a flyby closeout to force Kevin Durant downhill into the help. This was my favorite coordinated play of the night. To begin, the ball is dumped to DeAndre Jordan in the post, and from there, Brooklyn's 2 best players, Kevin Durant and James Harden, come together for a second and then split off from one another in what's known as a split cut. This entire play, with a player in the post and 2 other players performing a split cut off one another, is known as a post split, just FYI. Here's where it gets cool. Kevin Durant and James Harden's post split is actually a diversion from the real action of this play. Joe Harris, who fakes a screen of his own at the top of the key with James Harden to start, cuts downhill and receives a nice little lead-in pass for the bucket. For Brooklyn to use their 2 best players as a dummy action of sorts is almost cruel to watch. And it's something the group is going to have a lot of fun with this year once they add Kyrie Irving to the fold as well. All right, let's get into those 3 specific categories. Harden flexed his elite hesitation game in his Brooklyn debut, jetting by the defense on the rush to the rim. The guy is just so strong and compact for his size that there's not much you can do when he decides to bulldoze his way to the cup. It's not exactly an ideal situation to give a career 85.8% free throw shooter a free trip to the charity stripe or just a straight up wide open layup at the cup. Speaking of that league-leading ability at drawing free throws, the second he feels Aaron Gordon's hand on his hip, he erupts into his shooting form to draw 3 free throws. Harden made sure to take advantage of his transition cross matches, which here is a mismatch for poor Nikola Vucevic. Harden erupts into that step back, which he pops into so quickly. This is really smart basketball by Joe Harris. He comes in to set the screen for James Harden for that high pick and roll, and the idea is to engineer a switch so that Khem Birch is guarding James Harden. which by the way is a very favorable matchup for Brooklyn's latest superstar. Like we saw in the last clip, Harden gets into that step back the second he sees a big guy guarding him. But again, the MVP of this clip is Joe Harris, who finds a way to drag the weakest defender on the floor, Khem Birch, into the play for the isolation against James Harden. Harden only took 18 mid-range shots during all of last year, so it was a good sign to see him rise up for one in his Brooklyn debut. The best part of all, Harden only stood well outside of the play just once, according to my count. I get the idea of wanting to take the best defender on the floor, Aaron Gordon, out of the play, but the Nets are better with Harden participating in the offense. As mentioned in my most recent video, I expect James Harden to be Brooklyn's best skip passer, and here he lofts a gorgeous pass to Kevin Durant in the corner. Watch this play carefully. As Harden drives to the basket, Nikola Vucevic is forced to rotate over. With Vucevic rotating over, James Ennis III, who is what's known as the low man in this clip, is forced to cover DeAndre Jordan in the paint. He of course leaves Kevin Durant alone in the corner. From there, Orlando's rotations are all out of whack, as Khem Birch scrambles to the corner and the ball eventually finds its way into Joe Harris's hands. The thing about great passers is that they make the guys around them more generous as well. This is pinpoint accuracy to hit Kevin Durant right in his shooting pocket so that he can catch and go without readjusting at all. I love this play. Watch closely. Harden and rookie Reggie Perry, more on him in a second, engage in a side pick and roll, and you'll notice Harden turn his head as if he's about to pass to Reggie Perry on the roll. This causes Aaron Gordon, originally guarding Kevin Durant at the top of the key, to commit to Reggie Perry on the roll. So Harden turns his head back to the rim as if he's about to drive for the layup, and then at the very last second whips a skip pass to Kevin Durant for the three. Subtle but elite manipulation of the defense. Yet again, fantastic timing on the pass by James Harden. Joe Harris fakes toward the top of the key as if he's about to grab the ball for a dribble handoff or maybe a short pass for the three, only to reroute and back cut behind the defense. Harden hits Joe Harris at the peak of his cut, airborne in fact, which eventually results in a Jeff Green three. This is a tremendous Kevin Love-like outlet pass. And then even little passes like this. There's just so much flair to James Harden's game as a facilitator. James Harden qualified as an 81st percentile pick and roll ball handler a season ago, and for good reason. Not only is Harden a prolific scorer from all areas of the floor that can draw contact at will, he's also tremendous at finding the roll man as both of them barricade toward the basket. Reggie Perry was the big beneficiary of that on Saturday night. Harden's ability to find the roll man with a bounce pass is especially prominent. Watching guys that can execute a nice bounce pass is just such a treat. On this broken play, Harden absolutely laces a bounce pass to TLC on one of his signature back cuts behind the defense from the corner. The guy is just such a good passer, man. Harden's hands were as quick as advertised. Even after getting caught up on this screen, he's able to poke the ball away from Cole Anthony. Harden racked up 4 steals on the night, and his ability to swipe the ball away from weak ball handlers like James Ennis III was a big reason why. Here, as Cole Anthony dribbles underneath the basket, Harden does this interesting thing where he turns his back to the rookie point guard, even as Anthony enters his general vicinity. When Anthony tries to pass out to Gary Clark Jr., Harden, somehow, with eyes in the back of his head, sticks an arm out and picks off the pass like it's nothing. Looking back at it, it appears that Cole Anthony fell right into James Harden's trap. Harden was also active as a help defender. Here, he provides DeAndre Jordan with some assistance in the post against Nikola Vucevic. You'll notice that Harden leaves his man James Ennis III to swipe at the ball on the post. This is known as a dig. It's a calculated smart risk, given that Ennis III isn't exactly a floor spacer. And again, we see Harden leaving his man to go dig in the post. 2 quick swipes at Nikola Vucevic almost forces the ball out of his hands. It's a good idea nonetheless. Maybe most comforting of all, if you're a Nets fan, was Harden's comfortability within Brooklyn's switching scheme. Before we break down this play itself, there are 2 things you must know. Yes, Brooklyn runs a switching defense, but they don't just switch at ball screens, they're switching screens all over the court. And number 2, it shouldn't necessarily come as a surprise that Harden looked pretty comfortable switching all over the place. Houston, under the watchful eye of Mike D'Antoni, who by the way is an assistant coach for the Brooklyn Nets, ran a switching defense that looked eerily similar to what we're seeing this year in Brooklyn. So yeah, it's safe to say that Harden may be playing in a system that looks pretty familiar to him, if you catch my drift. Anywho, onto the play. Orlando Orlando's Aaron Gordon dribbles into a dribble handoff with Terrence Ross, and Gordon's screen slightly dislodges James Harden. Seeing that his superstar teammate James Harden is slightly out of the play, Kevin Durant rushes for a quick twitch switch. Say that 3 times fast. To avoid sending 2 defenders to 1 offensive player, James Harden peels all the way back to Aaron Gordon in the corner and cuts him off just in time before he can get up into that 3-point shot. That causes Gordon to hesitate for just a second, forcing up a shot that Brooklyn will most certainly take. After James Harden gets caught up on this Nikola Vucevic screen on this 4th quarter pick and roll, Jeff Green switches over to the rookie point guard like a well-oiled machine, while Harden takes Vucevic in the post. Orlando, reading the situation, try to engage in a dribble handoff between the 2 players. But once again, Harden and Green switch beautifully, as Beard puts up a really solid contest against a better Cole Anthony make. It's no coincidence that Harden and Jeff Green look so comfortable switching together. They do, after all, have some experience playing together. In, guess where? Houston. No coincidence, I'm sure. Now, he wasn't 100% flawless on defense. Here, he dies on this screen and doesn't make a huge effort to get back into the play. And then here, it looks like he and Kevin Durant don't exactly communicate properly on this Aaron Gordon, Nikola Vucevic pick and pop. Though I actually would argue it's KD who was a little bit late on this one. But again, defense is predicated on team collaboration. And then this is probably nitpicking, but Harden dogs it a little bit in transition defense as Dwayne Bacon streaks ahead of him. Fortunately, Kevin Durant makes a prolific block. But overall, I found Harden to be really solid defensively. Overall, I call James Harden's Brooklyn debut an undeniable success. He fits seamlessly into Nash's spread pick and roll scheme, a scheme that looks mighty similar to the offense that Harden ran in his early years in Houston. On defense, Harden looked more than comfortable switching and helping when appropriate. He's still one of the best passers in the world with a scoring bag that is alive and well. All in all, I think it's safe to say that James Harden takes Brooklyn's championship odds a level higher. And dare I say it, with Kyrie Irving in the fold, Brooklyn's Big 3 is the team to beat. And with that, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. And go ahead and share this vid on Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit. I'm going to stick to what I did last time and just plug my Twitter. The link is below. That's where you can find all my stuff. Written, podcasts, videos like this, it's all on Twitter. I think most of the people that are coming to this video probably know this, but I am a Nets reporter. So again, Twitter is the best way to find the latest news, quotes, and anything else that's update related to the team. But look, that's all I got today. Thank you guys for watching. Peace!